I'm just trying to. Yes, it does work. I'm able to speak on this microphone without turning anything on, and I have been asked just to say at the outset that when you want to speak yourselves, do please wait for the microphone, because Hilary here is making minutes, but we're belt and braces, and we're also recording today's session, to which I am very pleased to welcome you all. My name's Audrey Lewis, and I'm a councillor. My particular relevance to today's hearing is I am, and have been for some years now, the chairman of the licensing committee at Westminster. And I have a great and abiding interest in making certain we get the right kind of balance between a residential city, but also a city which is the focus for people throughout the world to come. And I'm particularly pleased to see that we have a number of our great cultural institutions represented today. This is the second session, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we've had two sessions on many, if any, other subjects. But this is of great importance, and we are really pleased that a number of people have come. I have no intention of speaking for the 10 minutes I've just discovered has been allocated to me. My role is, as chairman, is largely one of wanting to hear, and although Margaret, who's sitting to my left, will be facilitating the session, I shall also be here to encourage people to speak freely. I think that the major thing that slightly bedevils discussion of policies which affect arts and culture and indeed entertainment generally in the city is the distinction between licensing and planning. And I notice that in the notes which have been sent to you, which are not the notes of the last session we had of this series, but previous information which has been passed to us, that there are a number of issues on which people are suggesting there should be policies on this and that. I would say that the biggest single thing to keep in mind when you're wondering whether it's a planning issue or a licensing issue is that planning is pretty more or less permanent. Once you've made, I'm not speaking as a planner here, I'm speaking as a layperson. Once you've made a planning decision, that's it. I mean, people can appeal it, but I mean, you can't just reverse planning decisions. You can't actually anymore reverse licensing decisions, because in the old days we renewed licenses for restaurants and so on on an annual basis. That's no longer the case. But there is a very practical way in which licenses, entertainment licenses, can be reviewed. I'm not saying it's easy, but any premises which anybody, be it a business or a nearby resident, has significant problems, they can ask for the license to be reviewed. Having said which, there has to be evidence to back up that review. And if it's not good evidence that there is a consistent problem, then we may well not decide to make substantial changes to the conditions for those premises. But there is the machinery; it does exist, so all the time, I think one needs to keep that quite significant difference in mind, because some of the things which have been suggested would be too permanent. This is a living city, and if you start putting everything into aspect, then nobody can improve things. Now, of course, they can also make them worse, but let's assume we need sometimes the flexibility to improve matters in various areas. I think that's probably all I need to say, other than to encourage you to speak quite freely and fully, and hand you over to Margaret.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody, to this afternoon's workshop. This is our 12th workshop that we've been holding throughout the summer, although it's not quite summer at the moment, but for getting views and options to work towards our city management plan, which is the detailed policies of our LDF. The core strategy, which contains the strategic policies, that is well on the way to publication stage. So this afternoon's meeting is to get ideas, views, options for the city management plan, those detailed policies on entertainment uses. My name is Margaret Handosky, and I'm in the City Planning Group in the LDF team, but I'm here as the facilitator and to be neutral. And I've got 3 officers here to help clarify any points, but they're not here to provide views. They're just points of information, really. There's Tom Kimber, who's also in the LDF team, Bill Hodgson, who's the Licensing Policy Manager, and Louise Francis from Development Planning Services. Just before we start, I'd quite like to do a very quick housekeeping thing. Toilets, the gents are just here on the right-hand side, and the ladies, you'll just have to walk through the lift lobby. And in the unfortunate event of a fire alarm going off, we'll have to walk down to the back of this hall, turn right, and there's a staircase there that will go down. And one other matter, if you haven't or aren't expecting any very urgent phone calls that you must take, please would you switch off your mobile phones, because it interferes with the sound recording. And this sound recording, like all the other workshops, is being recorded and will be placed on our website, so you can review what's been said, or indeed go to the previous one, which was held on the 27th of July, and you can see what was said there. And then, if you so wish, you can also send in written comments, and the closing date for those for this meeting will be the last day of October. So we'll accept any written responses or views or opinions, options that you'd like to pass on to us at that date. We've also got, if you don't have a chance to actually put forward a view, or would like to echo or second or support a view that someone else has put forward, you're very welcome in the break or afterwards to put a note up on the walls, which just, if you put it on a yellow sticky and stick it to the relevant question. So the main purpose of this meeting is for us to get your views. There's no right or wrong answers, and there's no need for us to reach consensus. We will record all your views expressed, take them away, mull over them, and come up at some point, probably late 2010, with a draft policy document for the city management plan, which will of course include entertainment policies. I think that's it, really, and I think we may as well start now. So I will read out these questions that are on the back of your briefing notes. And we'll have ample time, hopefully, to discuss these. And I guess my job is to see that we do keep to time, but hopefully that won't be a problem. And also the very last question is for you to raise any issues that you would like to raise that we haven't discussed